So we will be taking two case studies today. One is the rock and roll in Bangladesh. This case study we have not done. Okay. You remember when we talked about WTO, we said there are 6 categories of agreements, and 3 categories were related to goods, services, and intellectual property rights. Okay. This particular case study is more closely related to the intellectual property rights, and also it touches upon the dispute settlement. You know, when two countries are having dispute, you know, at certain stage that the matter is resolved, you know, at certain stage, maybe at the initial level. So especially, for example, in this case, it did not go to the full-fledged arbitration in WTO. So you know, it touches upon both the things, intellectual property rights as well as the dispute settlement at the initial stage itself. But it's an interesting case study for the simple reason it relates to Bollywood. And it involves players like Anu Malik and Mahesh Bhatt and things like that. You know, that's why it becomes a very interesting case study. And this case study text is available on WTO website, because it is one of the documented case study in World Trade Organization portfolio. Okay. So if you will read the text, you will find it very interesting. So I have just taken out the crux of the case study in the form of PPT. So what exactly happened in this particular case? There was a news after the movie came, murder movie, came in Indian cinemas. It is a daylight robbery in murder. Murder means the murder movie. Screamed a cult Bangladeshi rock band, and its plea has been heard. This was the news. In which newspaper it was? Telegraph of Calcutta. Right? So it became a big news in Calcutta. For the simple reason, you know, it related to a very famous song in Bangla language. So obviously it was of interest to people of Calcutta. In its front page story on Tune Lift. Tune Lift means music piracy. Tune Lift in the Hindi movie Murder. So when did this news came? 20th May 2004. And the newspaper was Telegraph. So that is how the story unfolds. You know, that was the first information to the public that something has happened. Okay. So this rock band, which is based in Bangladesh, very famous, its name is Miles. A very popular Bangladeshi music band has accused music director Anu Malik, a music mogul of the Mumbai movie world, of committing pure piracy of one of its original composition. So this music was exactly the same music which came in the movie. The movie was already released, and when people went there, they saw, what is this? And the news came, and the band, which is based in Bangladesh, they came to know.
The movie was also super hit.
Yeah, it was a super hit, but it was already released. You know, now it is a question whether Miles already knew, or they just wanted that first let it be released. Then we'll see, you know, whether you know they can make some money. I mean, it's a business. It is possible that probably they already knew that it has been already pirated. But obviously, you know, they say that we did not know. Somebody called up and said, your music is there. Your music has been copied. And another thing is that, you know, people in Calcutta, they are Bengali people, they must be already knowing that song.
Yes, sir.
If a song is famous in Bangla language, it is not possible that the Calcutta people will not know.
Sir, they have launched in the song in the Calcutta region before to copy in Bollywood.
Oh yeah, it was already in the market for 15 years.
Yes, sir.
Before it came in Murder movie, it was already there. You know, it so happened, but I mean, you will realize later, even Anu Malik did not know. that it is so famous.
Yes, sir.
So that's a very interesting case study from that point of view. Tarun, morning. बड़े बढ़िया बताइए. हाँ वो मैं आज ले लूँगा, मेरे को याद नहीं रहा, मैं आज ले लेता हूँ और फिर प्रोग्राम बना लेते हैं. हाँ हाँ वो मेरे पास है, वो मैं रख लेता हूँ. ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ओके ठीक है ठीक है ओके ओके. Okay, so that's the background about this case study. And you know, like initially when news came, it looked like it's a very simple matter. Somebody has copied and matter will be solved like that. You know, like some hue and cry will be there, some 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees will be given by Anu Malik to Miles band and it will be solved. I mean, people didn't understand the ramification of this particular news and this piracy on a global scale. I mean, people didn't know. I mean, see, you know what is WTO. Probably people normally do not understand what is WTO.
Yes, sir.
Or even WTO angle was not mentioned anywhere in this news. Obviously, right? And more so, there is no intellectual property right agreement between Bangladesh and India. I mean, as such, there is no formal bilateral agreement. But people forgot that WTO is a multilateral agency, so automatically there is a multilateral agreement, which is more sacrosanct than even the bilateral agreement, obviously. As per the TRIPS, intellectual property rights agreements of WTO, any member of WTO is automatically having an agreement with another member. Alright? So this angle was not even mentioned in this news. Initially, when it came. On receiving messages, that is the Miles band side. They showed that we did not know. When the movie was released, they received messages from fans in United States, in UK, Australia and India that their song Friye Dao Amar Prem. I don't know, anybody understand the meaning of this?
Yes, sir.
You know what is the meaning of this?
मेरा जो आपका तरफ जो प्रेम है वो मुझे वापस कर दीजिए.
Okay, Friye means वापस.
हाँ.
Friye Dao means
मुझे दो.
मुझे दो. अच्छा. Friye Dao Amar Prem.
मेरा प्रेम जो.
Okay. And so, is it a very famous song?
Yes sir.
It's already a famous song. So Anu Malik did a very big mistake, you know. Give Me Back My Love had been copied in the soundtrack of Murder. Manan, Hameen and other members of Miles collected a copy of the movie and sat down to watch it themselves. They try to portray that they did not know, probably, right? Probably they may not be knowing. It is possible, right? But the song Jana Jane Jana, I really don't know. I don't remember because this song had not become popular, obviously because it was removed from the movie. So in Hindi, this song was Jana Jane Jana. I really don't know which song it is. It's available on YouTube, the Hindi version.
Yes, sir.
Was being played. The band members could hardly believe their ears. Only the language was different, Hindi. Otherwise, the lyrics are a shadow of ours. The tune is the same, absolutely same. Every chord, every music, every beat, everything was same. Anu Malik style, you know. Because throughout his life he has just copied nothing.
So recently they copy another song. This is the Akon, the famous singer.
फेमस
Okay.
है इन
Which one?
अमेरिका. अकाउंट से.
So Lonely is Mr. Lonely song. They copy in Sokin movie.
In which movie?
Sokin.
Shokin. Okay.
Lonely song.
Okay,
But,
it has been absolutely copied.
But sir, this time he changed the word of the song.
Okay, the words and as well as some part of it.
Yes, sir. The tune will be the same.
You know, there was a recently I came to know that since the inception of Bollywood, 95% of the material which is done in Bollywood, 95% is a copy. May not be exactly, but you know, like they some do some modification and things like that. Recently there was a movie called Barfi, if you remember.
Yes.
There is a very famous English movie called Notebook. Notebook is a very, very famous movie. I think probably it has Oscars. Many of even the scenes have been copied in this movie, Barfi. So it's a very common thing. But music, you know, music is something, you know, like in movie comes once and you know people forget about it. But the music remains. Remember, you must be remembering there's so many musical songs of 50s and 60s which people still remember, you know. Like songs, if you copy, you can only, you know, it's not possible. You really cannot copy as it is. What you can probably do is that you can get an inspiration from a particular song and then you have to have your original music. Otherwise, it's very easy to pinpoint where it has been copied. Very easy. And especially, you know, this Anomalik and all, they had been copying it mainly from those places where it is unlikely that Indians or some people will be able to, you know, correlate. Like, for example, most of the songs which Anomalik copied were from Gulf countries, Arabic language. You know, I'll give you one example. One of the songs, I think in the same murder movie or the next murder movie, has got Arabic word. You remember?
Same murder
song.
movie.
Arabic
Yes.
words are there, na?
यही गाना है।
Kaho na kaho.
Kaho na kaho में-
Kaho na kaho.
हाँ।
है ना? Those were Arabic words.
हाँ।
So even that song looks like must have been already copied. And what they did, in addition to the Hindi words, where they could not create Hindi words, probably, you know, they let the Arabic word also in there. So one of the main source of Anubalik had been Gulf. And you will realize later, even this song was, Anubalik didn't know it is actually originating from Bangladesh. Actually, Anubalik bought it from Gulf country only. So the person who was selling, he was very smart. He copied from Bangladesh and sold it to Anubalik without the knowledge of Anubalik. And that's why he was caught, basically. So the person who was supplying from Gulf country, the agent, he double, you know, he became a double trick. He played double trick with Anubalik. So that's why Anubalik was caught actually. He unaware.
So that's the reason we are not winner of the Oscar award.
Obviously, yeah, you're right. See, one of the reason why our image is not good in the Hollywood, that normally
because the songs are not their
Songs are-
own creations.
and you know there is a personal general feeling that things have been copied. Like for example, Barfi was a very good movie.
Yes.
But if you put Barfi in Oscar, they will say, "Oh, what are you talking? This is we already know this movie and everybody knows."
Many scenes of Professor is matched with Charlie Chaplin's movie.
Yeah, in fact, you know, in Barfi, what they have done, they have copied from different places, but many of the scenes, you know, they are from Notebook. Especially, you remember there was a scene in this movie where in the car that the mother of the lady, you know, she took him to a place. There is a laborer, and she says, "I used to love him."
Yes, sir.
It's exactly copied scene from Notebook. Because Notebook, I am very fond of this movie. I have seen many times, even before Barfi came. So I knew. But when I was seeing this movie, I could easily pinpoint which are the scenes which have been copied from Notebook. It was very easy for me, right? So you know, you're right that Oscars will have this problem, and for that reason, one of the worst movie probably on the Indian theme which has been made, the Slumdog Millionaire. I would say it's one of the worst movie if you compare with the Bollywood standard, and it has got it came in Grammys award and things like that. Because it is not made by
Copy.
Indians.
Indian.
So chances of copying are less. So you can for all practical purpose, they agreed that Slumdog Millionaire at least is a original copy.
Yes.
So if in India originality is not compromised, I think majority of the movies will go to Oscars and Grammys because the quality of movies is actually very good. Otherwise, technically they are very good. The only problem is that the people who are running the show and the people who are investing the money, they don't want to take any chances and they say that okay, something which has already been successful, just copy it like that. So that is what is happening, and that's why the image of Bollywood industry is very bad in the international arena. So their main aim is not to get awards, but to make money
Yes, sir.
from the Indian public. That is the basic idea. That's why Mahesh Bhatt is one of the very successful producer because the storyline, the songs, everything. He has got the people like Anu Malik who know where to get and make it hit. Their main expertise is to make the movie a hit, right? So put in Sunny Leon, put in Anu Malik's agents, you put in all the people, all the ready people, and make a good movie and which sells and make a lot of money. So it's a short success. That is the formula of Mahesh Bhatt. So when the song Jaane Jana was being played, the band members could hardly believe their ears. Only the language was different. Hindi, otherwise the lyrics are a shadow of ours, the tune is the same. So that was the reaction. Now the Bengali song, Friye Dao, was composed by Miles for its music album
प्रत्याशा
Patyasha. In 1993. Now the song has been used in the soundtrack of Hindi blockbuster movie Murder without, of course, the permission of the original composer. Bangladesh has a very negative balance of payment with India. Now this is another point, very interesting point. One thing is that it has been copied. Second point is that Bangladesh has a very bad balance of payment. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that Bangladesh is dependent on India on many goods, whether it is three-wheelers, whether it is two-wheelers, whether it is Maruti cars, whether it is Tata trucks, cranes, lathe machine, so many engineering items, plastic items, everything.
Imported by
The industry is almost not there in Bangladesh.
Imported by Bangladesh.
So they import from India, and they are one of the major buyer of Indian goods. And the Indian quality is okay with them. Like you really cannot sell the normal Indian quality to other countries, but you can easily sell to Bangladesh, right? Because their living standard is probably even poorer than us. Okay. So what happens?
Balance of international.
So
trade.
they are importing more and exporting less. So it means they are spending more of their foreign exchange buying Indian products. Now, in such a situation,
This is an opportunity for the.
no, it's not only opportunity. They say that we are buying so many things from you, and we are not able to sell anything. Something which we can sell, you don't want to buy. You want to steal.
Still.
Now, this becomes a very big issue. That there is a country which is a small country, which is your neighbor also. Right? We normally say, at least skip your neighbors. If you are a thief, at least skip your neighbors. If you want to be a thief, go somewhere far off. Don't steal from the neighbors, right? And the neighbor says that I am so much dependent on you, and I am always looking for new opportunities that I can sell you something, and you don't want to buy it. You want to steal it. So it's a very good opportunity for Bangladesh. Wherever he'll go, it'll have a very bad name for Indian government, obviously. So balance of payment position is in favor of India, not in favor of Bangladesh. Which means it becomes a double crime. That a country which is buying so much from you, they are not stealing anything. They are not stealing three-wheelers from India, they are not stealing two-wheelers from India, they are not stealing anything.
And you are not giving
But-
a chance to.
But you are not giving a chance to buy things from them. At least buy their music
Yes.
directly, instead of stealing from some other place, right? So this becomes another point of contention. Very strange. So, who are the players involved now in this whole episode? One is the composer, the Miles. Second is the producer of the movie Murder, Mahesh Bhatt, because he is the one who benefited the most.
Copy master.
And third is the copy master, Mr. Anu Malik. And fourth is the
Recording.
recording company which recorded the music. That is also one of the party to it. And the name is Sare Gama, India. Now, how they can record music without even verifying whether it is the original music of Anu Malik? I mean, they can always do due diligence for the artist, people. When a book is published, the publisher does a due diligence whether it is the original book written by the author or it has been copied from somewhere. You know, something, they do some due diligence. So obviously the recording company also comes into picture, Saregama. So now these are the players, and only one player is outside India, and that is Bangladesh. All other three players,
From India.
whether Mahesh Bhatt or Manu Malik or the Saregama company, they are from India, right? So this is how the story unfolds.
It's very shameful for India.
It is
Very shameful for India.
obviously it is very shameful, especially because the place are rich neighbor stealing from a poor neighbor.
So,
India is a very big country. Bangladesh is a very small country, and it's a friendly country. If you would have stolen from Pakistan, it is understandable. You are stealing from a friend, right? Bangladesh is a small, friendly country, and you are selling things. It is a very, very big issue. Even Indian government was shocked what this Mahesh Bhatt and Anu Malik has done, right?
Relation can be affected.
Obviously. And this WTO angle is still to come. Up till now, there is no WTO angle. We are only talking about balance of payment position between Bangladesh and India. We are talking of a neighbor. We are talking of a poor country. We are talking of a friendly country. We are talking of a country which is dependent on you or for many things, including their defense. You know, if anybody attacks Bangladesh, for example, China attacks Bangladesh, probably they are dependent on India for the army. Indian army can help, like what we did in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
When there was a lot of militancy, we sent peacekeeping force, right? So these countries which are in our neighborhood, they have a lot of dependency on India, except Pakistan, because we are not very friendly with Pakistan. But other countries, they are very friendly with India because they know that in the time of crisis, they will probably need a big neighbor, rich neighbor like India. And you know, up till now WTO angle is not there. It is just very basic common sense. Okay. So problem with filing of the case, you know, it was pointed out whether the case can be filed by Miles on these three parties, Mahesh Bhatt, Anu Malik and Saregama. What is the problem? The first problem, they cited India has no bilateral treaty with Bangladesh. There is no country to country bilateral agreement on intellectual property right. There is no mutual agreement. So Anu Malik felt it is easy to copy the song.
But he did not. think
He should
about-
have probably attended our lecture before stealing.
Yes.
He would have known that it is not easy, it is one of the most difficult things under WTO. In fact, it would not have been WTO, it would have been GATT of the earlier time.
Yes.
Probably things would have been still better. Because GATT had such a trust on the global level. So people would have still not given too much importance to this case. But WTO is not GATT. WTO is a very strong organization having a lot of reputation, international reputation.
And very strict organization.
Very strict. I mean, it is so transparent. The system has improved like anything. I mean, it's totally different from GATT. GATT was nothing. WTO is a proper organization like IMF, like World Bank, like United Nations, right? WTO is not a small organization. So, this case is 2004. WTO was already formed in 1995. And these people did not know about it, probably, about WTO. So, but he failed to understand that WTO was formed in 1995 and both India and Bangladesh are members of WTO. So, there is a multilateral agreement, automatically. As for the WTO provisions of TRIPS, Indian Copyright Act was amended to include all members of WTO being beneficiary of international copyright provisions committed in India. So automatically there is a multilateral agreement, and multilateral agreement is much more stronger than bilateral. I'll tell you the reason. In bilateral agreement, suppose there is a bilateral agreement between two countries. Suppose there is a bilateral agreement between India and Pakistan. So the bilateral agreement has a sanctity in India and Pakistan. Third country is not at all concerned. It has no meaning, right? But in a multilateral agreement,
There are many countries involved.
there are many countries. What is the meaning of this? Suppose there is a girl and a boy. They have a mutual agreement that we want to marry, and they go to RS March and just get married. Nobody is a witness. So only the boy and the girl knows that they are married. Nobody else no. But suppose there is a marriage with the consent of the family of the boy and the family of the girl, and all the relatives have joined the marriage, then it is multilateral bonding. Everybody knows, the whole society knows that this girl and this boy has married. So multilateral agreement is like that, where all the family members, all the relatives, everybody knows that there is an agreement. But in a bilateral agreement, nobody knows.
And in this case, other countries also
Are involved.
are involved.
So if there is a problem between two countries and it is not resolved in a timely manner, the other members may feel that it can happen to them also. So they will it is in the interest of all the members that the matter is resolved in a timely manner and to its proper conclusion. Right? It's quite obvious. So multilateral agreement in fact is a more stronger bond. It is kind of like, more like an arranged marriage. Right? So that was the thing. The provision of TRIPS in Copyright Act was already amended to include all members of WTO being beneficiary of international copyright provisions committed in India. Anomalik was caught in the WTO game. He was not aware of this WTO. When he copied, he must be already understanding. And as he said that he did not know that it is actually coming from Bangladesh. Later he said, but probably he knew.
Unethical is unethical. Unethical is unethical.
See, initially at that time, some advisor in Bollywood, see, people are not educated in Bollywood. Oh, there is no agreement between Bangladesh, don't worry, just copy. We'll look at it. I mean, probably is a person who advised Anomalik and Mahesh Bhatt. In Bollywood, probably was not aware of this multilateral agreement and WTO and formation of WTO. So these things had happened already. So for so many years back, I mean almost 9 years back, because this case came in newspaper in 2004 and WTO was formed in 1995. So they were not aware of what is happening in the international level. And that is why we always say that, people who probably do not have a IB knowledge in MBA and they go to the industry, they can also end up in some problems. Because in today's world, you need to have the global outlook.
broad knowledge.
Otherwise, you cannot survive at any level. Whether it is bank, whether it is insurance company, whether it is a demat company, whether it is any kind of industry in India, whether Indian market or foreign market, you have to have a global knowledge. Otherwise, in today's world, you cannot survive. An MBA have to have a global knowledge. That time has already come.
Right.
So that's why we always say that, IB is always beneficial, whatever field you want to go. So, what actually finally happened? Miles, composer of the song, music, filed the case in Calcutta High Court. They actually filed the case. Initially they thought that the case cannot be filed because there is no agreement between Bangladesh and India. But then somebody must have advised them we have got a even stronger agreement. It's a multilateral agreement under WTO. That's why they could technically file a case in Calcutta High Court. Now, my question is why in Calcutta High Court? Why not in some global platform, maybe Switzerland, maybe Singapore? Why Calcutta High Court? Can somebody give me the answer?
Because they don't want to spoil their relationship.
Because it is near to Bangladesh.
Government don't want
More than the relationship, it is more convenient.
more convenient.
Both for the three parties in India as well as for them, for Miles. See, suppose they would have filed the case in Bangladesh court. There were two problems. No, the Bangladesh court, if they would have taken some stand, India could have easily said that it is your court.
Yes.
And it is partial and the decision is wrong. Right? So if a court is in India, then Indian government cannot say that the decision is wrong. Number one. Number two, Calcutta is convenient, near to Miles as well as for Bombay people. I mean, they can easily come to the court. So it is one of the very smart move of what? Filing the case in a Calcutta High Court. Right? And obviously it's a metro city. So court will be very professional court. Like they would know what is WTO, they will know what is multilateral agreement. Otherwise, if it is smaller court, probably you have to explain what is WTO. Even to the magistrate, they will not understand. So, what they demanded? Removal of the song from the movie, murder, confiscation of all music software for Saregama recording company, and 5 crore rupees damage from Mahesh Bhatt and Anubali. On those days, 5 crore was not a small amount at that time. Because the song had already come, the movie had already been released, so they already made money. Because the majority of the income comes in the movie in the first few weeks only. So they have already made the money. And probably, see, personally I feel, if they would have put the case before release, they could not have demanded this 5 crore.
Yes.
Now, they are trying to say, we do not know. Somebody said that this has been copied, the incident has already happened, the stealing has already been done, and the money has been already made by the thieves. Right? And now they must have made some 20-30 crore, whatever they have made. Now it is very easy to demand 5 crore rupees. So they were also smart. They also knew the timing and all. If they probably knew. Personally, I feel that they must be already knowing. In the industry, people know, what is happening. So they must be already knowing that this music has been copied. They were just waiting, let the movie get released, let them make the money, and then we will demand. Because they probably understood the technical points of the case. They thought that Anu Malik is thinking that nothing can be done, but we know everything can be done. Right? It's an international dispute. Right? It's not a bilateral dispute, it's a multilateral dispute. So they demanded 5 crore rupees. And it was very easy because the money had already come in the coffers of Anu Malik and Mahesh Bhatt. It was very easy for them to give 5 crore rupees. Right? So that is what they want. Removal of the song, confiscation of all music software, and 5 crore rupees damage. But I tell you, there is another very interesting thing. Probably this particular case filing timing, also benefited the movie. If whenever there is a controversy when a movie is released, people go, what has happened? So they go to the popularity of the movie goes up. Yes. If there is a something like that. So it was not very difficult for Anu Malik and Mahesh Bhatt to pay. See, ultimately, Miles, what they want, they are already making money of this song for last 15 years. Now, if after so many years, now they are making another 5 crore rupees from this music, who will say no? They are very happy, obviously. But I'm just guessing. So, if they did not know, it happened all in anger and whatever, I don't know. But that is exactly what happened. What is that? So the ruling, what ruling happened? Indian government obviously came in picture. If Indian government would not have come, then it would have been a very bad image for the Indian government. So, and if the case was not resolved in its proper conclusion, it would go to WTO. Bangladesh could have easily gone to WTO. Bangladesh government would have been involved easily, especially with the BOP position. So ruling, what was the ruling? Case hearing was taken on a priority due to WTO impact, TRIPS, due to multilateral agreement. It was taken on a very priority. Otherwise, you know, in Indian courts, how judgments are done. It takes years, right? Hearing was immediately made and song was removed. All software was confiscated. Criminal proceedings were initiated on Anomalik, Maheshwar and Saregama. Right? So this was the immediate effect of the thing. Now, after that, if you look at, particularly this case, if you read about this case, you will find that a lot of money changed hands, and officially also they must have paid this 5 crore rupees or whatever it is. So it is not mentioned here, but money was exchanged. And the biggest thing is, you must have noticed that Anomaly was out of business after that. Till today, he is no more doing songs. So what he did, he went to small screen, Indian Idol, and things like that. So he was busy with other things, but not the real thing. He was not the music composer of the Bollywood. So ultimately, because Saregama and the problem happened with Saregama, problem happened with Mahesh Bhatt also. So people will be very much worried, such a big case happened, and the bad name goes. So he was out of business, Anomaly. So very simple thing. He had been copying very smartly, but he made a mistake in this case. It is mentioned also in the case that Anomaly says that I did not know. I just got this music proper. I purchased the music. He says I have not stolen. He says that I actually paid money for the music to an agent in.
So Mahesh Bhatt and Saregama India must also have out of the business.
Saregama I don't know. Probably it is possible, I am not sure. But the main culprit in this case seems to be Anomaly, because he is the music composer, Mahesh Bhatt also directly or indirectly he is also involved. But Mahesh Bhatt, still can say that, if somebody, I have hired somebody. See,
but Saregama is more culprit.
Not really. Said, I tell you, when you create some book, suppose you write some book, you go to a publisher. Publisher will say, ask you, is it your original? Can you prove it? So you will say something or the other. He will agree. But he will sign a contract with you that if anything is found plagiarized, you only are responsible. Right? So Anomaly, Mahesh Bhatt can always show that legally. That it is the responsibility of the music composer. Because, see, ultimately, Mahesh Bhatt will say that, why I am a thief? I have paid Anomaly for his services. So it is not possible for me what Anomaly is doing, obviously. So the blame will go very less to Mahesh Bhatt and probably also Saregama. The main blame will go to Anomaly only. Because he is
also made
yeah. So what Anomaly tried to do, he said, I have also paid to somebody. So I am not the thief. The thief is located in Gulf country. But the problem is how to verify the authenticity of that person. That person would have been created later. Anomaly might have created another agent that I bought it. But people will say, you say that you are a composer, so why are you buying? He said that, okay, I did a crime, I did not compose it. I am saying that I am the composer, but I am not composing it. I actually bought this music from somebody. Now this somebody also is not a famous person or somebody, it's very difficult to find the veracity of that person. It's very difficult, right? So that's why the blame ultimately goes to Anomaly, and probably Anomaly may be right also. He actually might have bought it from a Gulf country agent, he might have. And that Gulf country agent double tricked. Anu Malik. What he did, he probably said that it is a original composition of somebody, and he actually copied it just like that from Bangladesh. But there is one problem here. See, one problem is here. This person, suppose he gives some music from a Gulf country. In what language will he give? In all probability, it will be in Bengali language only. It's very difficult. I mean, he cannot really convert that music into some other language. So, when Anu Malik got the music, he must have got it in the Bangla language only. So, how can Anu Malik say that he did not know that it is coming from Bangladesh? If you look at the merit of the case, if you look at the situation of the case, it is very unlikely that Anu Malik will not know that this actually belongs to Bangladesh and it's a very famous song.
And lyrics is also same.
And lyrics, I don't know. I have not heard Hindi song. I don't know. Same, it is same.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that that is another thing. You're right. If lyrics are also same, more or less same, then there is no doubt that Anu Malik will not know that it has actually been copied from Bangladesh. And probably he felt that it is easy to copy things from Bangladesh because probably he thinks that we have no bilateral agreement between India and Bangladesh. So he was showing that I am a very educated person. महेश भट्ट जी, मेरे जैसा बंदा नहीं मिलेगा, मुझे सब कुछ मालूम है. बांग्लादेश इंडिया का तो कोई एग्रीमेंट ही नहीं है. मैं बहुत पढ़ा लिखा आदमी हूँ. क्या पढ़ा लिखा आदमी? He did not know. Who is educated in Bollywood? Hardly anyone. People are not educated. It's a very disorganized sector. The money exchange hands between people.
Smart person is intermediary to sell.
Who sell? And even those people, they are also not very educated people. Bollywood industry is a very unorganized kind of industry. Very rough kind of industry. So you cannot expect people being very educated. And normally you say, I am most educated, I know English language, I know this, I know there is no bilateral agreement between India and Bangladesh. Sir, I have managed it, I know it, I manage the things, no problem. But problem is there. So, this is how things happen. So, this particular case study, is a very interesting case study. And these kind of cases which has come, and we will take another case study after the break, you will realize that, these kind of cases have made the WTO a very reputed and very effective organization. Actually, personally I feel, as a person from international business, what I understand, that after the formation of WTO only, countries like India have started coming up.
Yes, sir.
Emerging, if you look at the emerging countries, BRICS, for example, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, look, these countries would not have come up if our organization like WTO was not there. It is not easy. Like, for example, if you understand from this case, if Bangladesh really want to come up, it is not difficult for Bangladesh to come up. Such a small country can protect its music, its intellectual property. If some new innovation is done by Bangladesh, it will be recognized. People will recognize Bangladesh. Look at Singapore. Singapore is even smaller than Bangladesh. It's very, very small. Singapore is smaller than 1/4 of Delhi. Just imagine. 1/4. In size. 1/4 of Delhi. Right? So, if Singapore can become number one in every sphere of business and life, Bangladesh can also become. So what is happening, that the world business scenario has changed after 1995, especially after the formation of WTO. If the countries do it properly, there is a good possibility that any country in the world can come up. And it is happening. It is happening in Cambodia, it is happening in Vietnam, it is happening in Cyprus. These countries are coming up, small countries. It was not possible without WTO. It's not possible. A country like Antigua and Barbuda,
Yes, sir.
with 3 lakh people, can fight with USA in today's world, you know. So that is the strength. That is the strength. So personally, I feel that one of the best organization, Bretton Woods organization, best, had been WTO. And probably that is the reason WTO actually was not formed during that time. When Bretton Woods, after the Bretton Woods conference, United Nations was already formed, IMF was already formed, World Bank was already formed, but WTO was not formed because big countries already knew that if WTO is formed,
Then
there is no use of
our powers.
our powers, so their power will be lost, right? And now it is very clear. So we actually lost 50 years. The smaller, the poor countries, the developing world lost those 50 years. And today what is happening? India is coming up. China has already come up, right? And South Africa has already come up. But in the line, there are countries like Kenya, there are countries like Zimbabwe, there are countries like Angola, which can also say that now it is our turn. Our turn is also going to come. Obviously, if it can happen within India, it can happen in China. Then other countries will say that we also, our time is also coming, and it is already happening. In Kenya, the growth rate is 11%, GDP growth rate. So with the 11% GDP growth rate, it is one of the highest in the world,
Yes, sir.
right? So there is no doubt that these countries will also come up. But they are so poor already. This 11% is not making much difference. That is the only problem. But with time, with 11% and 11% and 11% compounding, what will happen? These will become very rich. So before they become rich, it is our turn. So why should we lose that opportunity? We should already become richer than them. We should take the advantage of the time. We should seize the opportunity, right? And when till it is our time, we should seize the opportunity. When our time is over, we will be already very rich. So we should enjoy our richness by that time and let the other people become rich. All these things are possible under WTO only. If WTO is not there, these kind of organizations are not there, it will never happen. Then poor will remain poor and rich will become more rich otherwise. So that is the message. That's the message, especially of this particular case study which I showed you. And this case study was very similar to what happened with Antigua and Barbuda, a poor country fighting with a rich country, and in this case Bangladesh fighting with India. So this is one of the very interesting case study which I actually always discuss about, and it is one of the feather in this course, a case study which is a feather in this course. You get a good understanding of how WTO works. So what we'll do, we'll have a break, and then we'll meet at 12:15. We'll meet at 12:15, and we'll take up a case study on shrimps exports from India. This is a very good case study on shrimp exports. We'll discuss that. It will give some other point of view. It is the fight between India and US. Okay.